Oh my god. That's ridiculous, she told CBS this morning's Gail King. We're not being injected with chips. What we're being injected with is this incredible scientific breakthrough that keeps us safe. I don't like the way that part's worded. I feel like she is like, no, you know what I mean? We're not trying to track you, but you know, it's only to keep you safe. That's why we do it. Canolios, yo. Persistent online disinformation has been an obstacle throughout the U.S. vaccine rollout and becomes increasingly critical as federal and state governments labor to meet President Biden's goal of having 70% of adults inoculated by July 4th. Polling has revealed concern about vaccine side effects, including unproven claims the virus causes infertility. What? Along with the general lack of trust in the shot are among the most common reasons people say that they haven't gotten the vaccine. Despite crackdowns on misinformation by social media sites, reports highlight that many falsehoods go unmoderated and spread easily across different platforms. Well, it's social media. There's not a single bit of credible information that I've gotten off of social media in the last I don't know how long. You know what I mean? It's just like the possibilities of actually getting credible information on social media is so slim to none. It's like 16 million. That's how many pieces of content violating their COVID-19 and vaccine policies Facebook and Instagram say they have removed since the beginning of the pandemic. So that's that. That's holy crap. Some of these claims, some of these freaking conspiracies are insane. The Bluetooth connectivity one, I think, is the funniest. That one that's so dumb. So the vaccines, first of all, the vaccines make you Magneto. What is it, 5G capable or 6G capable? Do we get Wi-Fi 6 with these dang vaccines? Is that what happens now? This is insane. People are ridiculous. They're ridiculous. It's dumb. Now let's see what else is going on. Let's see Rolling Stone. Let's see what else is going on with the good old come blah blah. You know, with after more than a year of scientific hypothesis, baseless conspiracy theories, and a lack of transparency from China, we still don't know COVID-19's origin story. like it's Spider-Man and shit. COVID-19 was in a dark alley and he watched someone get robbed and then decided, I'm going to be the hero the world needs. Started infecting people with this viralness. No, that's a bad origin story. Stop. The precise route SARS-CoV-2 took to end up as the cause of global pandemic. And thanks to the country's deep partisan divides, even the suggestion that we still need a clearer picture of how the novel coronavirus got its start can be perceived as politically charged. You know why? Do you know why it's politically charged? Because we had a president, okay, who called it the China virus. That's why it's politically charged. Even if it came from there, we still look racist, no matter what. Because a Cheeto in chief decided it was a great idea to be like, it's the woohoo flu, boo. You know what I'm saying, man? Come on, man. We know what the doom pow is. Stop faking cheese doodles, yo. You know what I'm saying? So on May 26th, when President Joe Biden issued a statement on his request that the intelligence community redouble their efforts to collect and analyze information to learn more about the origins of COVID-19, it prompted a range of reactions. For those who spent the past 15 months following the science of the pandemic, including the presumed consensus that SARS-CoV-2 was first transmitted to humans via animals, the president's announcement was jarring. I don't understand how it's jarring. He legit just said, well, let's find out where it came from. That's it. He didn't blame nobody. He didn't point no fingers. Now apparently Fauci has betrayed Chinese scientists. This is bugging, man. That's because the other plausible theory of transmission, that the novel coronavirus was accidentally leaked from a lab, was the position backed by former President Donald Trump, and as a result, many of his followers, but like the QAnon people. But like the virus itself, Trump's stance mutated, then promptly spread amongst his supporters. Honestly, yeah, that's exactly how that went down. Let's be honest. I mean, seriously, the man spoke anything. He could say whatever he wanted. He literally said he could go outside and shoot somebody and everyone would still love him. Remember when that happened? Does anybody remember that? I do. And that man was the president of these United States. We started as a science-based hypothesis, had in Trump's hands, morphed into an attempt to blame everything on China. It really was, though. Firmly rooted in anti-Asian racism. Evidence became irrelevant, except in April 2020 when he claimed to have some supporting a lab leak, although he wasn't allowed to talk about it. And his own intelligence agencies said that it didn't exist. They're like, no, Trump, you cannot do this. We're going to war if you do this. By that point, Trump's conspiracy theorists followers were off and running. And so despite their vast differences, those advocating for more thorough scientific research into the possibility of the unintentional lab leak, and right-wing conspiracy peddlers ended up being lumped together and at times conflated. But when you have somebody like Senator Ron Paul pointing his finger at freaking Fauci, in court in Capitol Hill, saying, "You, a government scientist who favors gain function, rather." That's what it was. I think at that point, the senators are the conspiracy theorists. They're not conflated or being bubbled together because they're not the same people. They're being conflated and bubbled together because they are the same people. We see it. It's come on, guys. What's happened since has been an example of the complicated relationship between science and politics, and how a typically routine aspect of virtual outbreak investigation has become distorted to the point where even those who have stood firmly on the side of science, firmly on the side of science, I said family, and reason are questioning the motive. Here's what we don't know, and hope to find out about the origins of COVID, Dovid, Bovid, Lovid, Mahovid. Two separate but unequal theories. Here we go. Like the pandemic itself, the attention given to the origin of COVID-19 has come in waves. When SARS-CoV-2 first started to spread, there was immediate questions about how the virus infected humans for the first time. Based on existing knowledge of other coronaviruses, most scientists backed the hypothesis that SARS-CoV-2 was spread through natural spillover, meaning that the virus was able to overcome the unusual hurdles that prevent it from transmitting from one species to another, in this case humans. They were saying that it came from pangolins. The first confirmed cases of what we know as COVID-19 were initially linked to the markets in the Chinese city of Wuhan, where animals are sold both dead and alive. There was also a competing theory that the virus spread following an accidental release from a lab, specifically the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where researchers study multiple strains of coronaviruses. Proponents of this explanation, including Trump, argue that it's too much of a coincidence that the virus was first detected in markets in the same city as that hosts a lab that studied the same type of virus. But as the New York Times reports, Wuhan is in an urban center larger than New York City, with animal market traffic from throughout China and the rest of the world, so it's easily possible that it is a coincidence. Like the natural spillover theory, what's come to be known as the lab leak theory is also based on scientists' prior experience with coronaviruses, according to Dr. Amesh Adalja. I'm sorry. I have problems with names, guys. Senior scholar at the Johns Hopkins University Center of Health Security. Anytime there is an infectious disease outbreak, it is really important to ensure that it's not an accidental lab leak, because we know that there are labs all around the world using or working with viruses that pose threats to human health, he tells Rolling Stone, citing previous examples of this happening, including during the SARS outbreak of 2004. I remember that. I don't know if you guys remember SARS. Everybody had to wear masks in China for a while. We've seen lab accidents all over where laboratory workers get infected inadvertently. They don't know about it, and if it is contagious disease, they spread it into the community. That, I think, was something everybody never fully discounted. What scientists and other infectious disease experts quickly discounted, however, was the notion that novel coronavirus was engineered or intentionally released. The amount of circumstances that would have to line up for it to have been intentionally released is something that could theoretically happen, but to have it like happen after it was intentionally created to be intentionally released. That's a little bit more evil science, mad scientist, cartoon villain things that I just don't think would actually happen. But I digress. A need for answers. Like most scientists, Dr. Pete Hotez, co-director of the Center for Vaccine Development at Texas Children's Hospital and dean of the National School of Tropical Medicine at Baylor College of Medicine, continues to favor the natural origin hypothesis. Based on the evidence that is currently publicly available, there is no smoking gun saying that it either was synthetically made in the laboratory in any way or leaked, and it is certainly possible. But I don't see anything that's really compelling that makes me think that, he explains. This is something that I was saying before when I covered Fauci being under fire by the Republicans and them asking him to step down because apparently he invented cum blah blah. You know what I mean? A need for answers.